Hey everyone, and welcome. When you look outside, the plant world can seem, well, kind of overwhelming, right? You've got these huge, massive trees and then these tiny little herbs. But what if I told you there's a really simple system to make sense of it all? Today, we're gonna break it all down.
Really, just picture it for a second. A massive banyan tree. It's big enough to give shade to a whole village. And then you have a mint leaf, something you can just crush between your fingers. They're both plants for sure, but they are playing completely different games. So how in the world do we organize all of this?
Well, believe it or not, it's actually way simpler than you'd think. Pretty much every plant you see fits into one of just 5 basic groups. So in this explainer, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a little journey, starting with the absolute giants and making our way all the way down to the smallest survivors.
All right, let's kick things off with the giants. It just makes sense to start at the very top, right? We're talking about the biggest, most long-lived things in the entire plant kingdom, trees.
So, what's the official definition? What makes a tree a tree? It's pretty straightforward, really. It's a big, tall plant with a hard, woody stem, what we all call a trunk. You can think of that trunk as its skeleton, It's the super strong support system for everything else.
And that's where it all clicks into place. That hard, woody stem is the whole reason they can get so massive, pushing their branches way, way up to grab all that sunlight. And because they're so strong, they can live for an incredibly long time, sometimes hundreds of years. They basically become these little worlds, these ecosystems all by themselves. And you see this everywhere, right? Just think about a big mango tree, or a sprawling banyan, or even a neem tree. They might look totally different, but they all share that one key thing, that tall, woody trunk. That's what makes them a tree.
Okay, so from the giants, let's scale it down a bit to what I'm calling the middleweights of the plant world. Shrubs and herbs. Now, this is where people sometimes get a little confused, but honestly, once you know what to look for, the differences are super clear.
It's a great question, isn't it? A rose bush has a woody-ish stem, but it's not a tree. It's leafy, but it's not quite like the mint you'd find in your kitchen. This is where we need to get just a little more specific.
Okay, let's break it down side by side. The first thing is that shrubs are way smaller than trees, and their biggest giveaway is how they grow. They've got a bunch of woody branches that start right near the ground, which gives them that bushy look. Herbs, on the other hand, are much smaller and their stems are soft and flexible. Just feel a rose stem versus a stalk of spinach. Totally different, right?
But look, if you only remember one thing from this section, make it this. It's all about the lifespan. A shrub, like that rose bush, is a perennial. It comes back year after year. But an herb, like mint or coriander, that's usually an annual. It lives for one season, and that's it. It's kind of like a temporary guest in your garden.
All right, so we've talked about plants that can stand up tall all by themselves. But what about the ones that can't? Let's dive into the really clever ones, the specialists of the plant world, the climbers and the creepers.
See, this is the big challenge that these two groups share. They both have really weak stems. Without a strong trunk or a solid base, they've got a huge problem. How do you get sunlight? How do you spread out and actually, live?
So do they just give up? No way. This is where nature gets super creative. Instead of putting all their energy into building a strong stem, they go for one of 2 brilliant strategies. They either climb up something else, or they just spread out all over the ground.
So, the big difference here is just direction. Climbers, like a grapevine, are all about going up. They use these cool little things that curl around supports to grab onto stuff and just climb their way to the sun. Creepers, on the other hand, like a pumpkin vine, are all about going along. They use their weak stems as an advantage, spreading out to cover as much ground as they can. So it's the same problem, a weak stem, but 2 totally different and really smart solutions.
So, we've gone all the way from the tallest trees down to the plants that hug the ground. Let's pull this all together and take a quick look at the whole system at a glance.
This chart really lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? You can see the whole story here, and it's mostly about 2 things: how strong the stem is and how big the plant is. At the very top, you've got the strong, woody stems of trees and shrubs. They just differ in size and where their branches start. Then you've got the soft-stemmed, short-lived herbs. And finally, you have our 2 clever specialists, the climbers and creepers, who solve that weak stem problem by either going up or spreading out. It's just a really neat, logical system when you see it all at once.
And that's really what this is all about. Each of these 5 types isn't just some random label. No, it's a unique, successful strategy for survival. It's about finding a way to get sunlight, to get water, and to keep going, whether you're a 100-foot tall giant or a tiny little vine.
So, I'll leave you with this.
Now that you've got this new way of looking at things, the outside world might seem a little different. The next time you're in a park or just looking at the plants on your windowsill, you're not just going to see green stuff. You're going to see strategies. You'll see survivors. So, my question to you is, what kind of plants are you going to spot now?